Okay, so I've got the comb in the steam box. Already put it in there and it's been steaming. And I'll show you the steam box, talk about just a little bit, but you know, I've got a whole segment on steaming that's already up. But one thing that I didn't say earlier is I rived this out and shaped it with the radial plane right here. You can do it with the tangential plane right there. And one advantage you get from doing it with the tangential plane is cutting this little groove around through here that ends up being a bead that I paint red is easier in the tangential plane than it is in the radial plane. But that's about the only advantage on this piece right here. One is it comes out of the log better like this. The other is it's easier to cut with a draw knife in this big wide flat surface that you're having to cut. The radial plane is much easier to cut. And then another advantage is the radial plane is going to shrink half as much as the tangential. So it's not going to distort your pattern quite as much. Of course, you could adjust your pattern to compensate for all that. But anyway, so that's a few of the advantages. And then I like the look of the radial plane through the paint. When I do some of my contemporary chairs where there's, say, a walnut bend up here, like Velda's chair, I like that. Sometimes I do it in the radial plane, but the radial plane's a little bland, so I'll do it in the tangential plane just to get those growth rings in a different look. Okay, well, oh yeah, so this is the form that I'm going to bend it around, really simple. There is a bevel cut on the back to match the angle of the triangle that I originally roughed out, which was 3/4 to 1/4 and 3 inches. And that's what that angle is right there. If you don't put that angle on it, then as you bend it around, the corners of the bend will attempt to dig into the bench the whole way around. So just put that little angle on it and you'll be fine. That's about it. I'm going to be clamping it down right here, and then, so I just use a one-piece form and some clamps. You could use a two-piece form, but that means I got to keep up with 2 pieces, and I do 30-some different chairs, and I try to minimize the pieces I keep up with. So I just do just a simple one-piece form and use clamps on it. It's also dries a little faster than it would in a 2-piece form because it's opening up to the air a little more. Okay, so I'm going to clamp this thing down, and then I'll see you out at the steam box. Hey, well, the comb is ready to come out of the steam box. It's been in there about an hour, which means that it's been at full head of steam for about 30 minutes, which is good enough for green stock, 210 degrees, something like that. So anyway, my steam box is a little snake coffin there, and it's up on blocks inside there, and to get it out of the hot water. And I guess that's about it. I'll pull it out and go inside and bend it. Okay, so I got it out of the steam box and got a few minutes to bend it. Just don't want to dilly-dally around, but like I said, this is not a severe bend anyway. So I'll line up the center mark, and actually I lined up that side on the center mark because by some quirk of nature it ends up in the middle if I do that. I haven't figured that one out yet. Use the pad, clamp it. This is just cork flooring right there somebody gave me. And then just crank it on in. Okay, there we go. Now I'll just let it, I could have cut off all that fuzz with my spoke shave. It'd look prettier, but no practical reason behind it. So I'll let it dry, and I mean, everybody says, how long does it take to let it dry? Well, it depends on the humidity that it's in. So I usually let it sit around the shop for a week or so, and then I'll put it in the kiln at 140 degrees for say 24 or 48 hours and set the bend, and probably be fine then it won't move. So, all right, well, we got the cone bent. Next thing, we'll go to the spindles.